Hello students, today we will study chapter 2 of English literature, that is The Master Artist, written by Carol Moore. Carol Moore is an author and the creator of the site Children's Storybook Online. She created the site to fulfill her lifelong dream of writing stories for children. She also illustrates story for children. Now student, let's start with the para-wise. I will explain you each para. Para 1. Monsieur Signy-Labbé. Monsieur means Mr. in a French. So Mr. Signy-Labbé had been a master artist of his day and in 1392 was ready to retire when, in the month of May, Giuliano Bartoli, a rich Italian patron, students, patron means a person who supports artist and writer. So Bartoli, a rich Italian patron, sent for him. On his arrival, Bartoli said, "I would like a portrait of myself on the wall of my dining hall where everyone can see it. Could you paint it? The wall is 20 feet tall." So students, Monsieur Signy-Labbé was a great artist of his time, and in 1392, in the month of May, he was about to retire. Giuliano Bartoli was a rich Italian who supported artists and writers of that time. He called him means Monsieur Signy-Labbé. So Bartoli called Monsieur Signy-Labbé, and on his arrival, Bartoli said that he wanted a portrait of himself on the wall of the dining hall so that everyone can see that painting or portrait. He asked him, "Could you paint for me?" Bartoli asked to Labbé. And he also said that the wall was 20 feet tall. Now second para. Monsieur Labbé looked thoughtful for a moment and then shook his head. "I am sorry, but I don't think so. I am ready to retire, so I am not available for hire." However, seeing the disappointment in Senior, student senior again in Italian means Mr. So, however, seeing the disappointment in Mr. Bartoli's eyes, he continued, "Well, there is a possibility if you think you can allow me to use my ability to the fullest. If you let me find out how far I can go as an artist, not for money, mind you, but for food and a bed instead. You need not to even pose because my memory is excellent. Already I can see your portrait in my mind, but I insist, Senior Bartoli, that while I work, your portrait must be hidden even from you." Now, Monsieur looked thoughtfully and then shook his head that, "I am sorry, I can't paint for you as I'm about to retire or I'm ready to retire. So I'm not available for hire." Means you cannot hire me as I'm about to retire. As he saw the disappointment in the eyes of Senior Bartoli, he said, "There is a possibility But what is the possibility? But if you allow me to explore, if you allow me to use or to explore my abilities to the fullest, and if you permit me to find out that how far I can go, means how far I can use my abilities, or how far I can go, or how far I can use my abilities, then I can paint for you. But I won't work for money. Instead, I will work for food and for bed. For bed means for living. Okay, for food and for living. Okay, students, you do not have to even pose. Okay, Monsieur Labe said you do not have to even pose because my memory is excellent. Okay, I can see your portrait in my mind. I request you that while I work on your portrait, okay, while I work on your portrait must be hidden. Your portrait must be hidden. No one can see your portrait, even you cannot see your portrait. Okay, students. Now, third para. How strange, thought the patron. But he also thought about how highly the artist had been recommended. Of course, he said, anything you wish, but I insist, at least upon paying you something for your effort. Let's draw up a contract. Okay, students. Now, as Bartoli heard this, he thought this was really very strange. Okay, Giuliano Bartoli thought this was really very strange, but also thought that if he is doing so, then really he must be a very great artist of his time, right? Bartoli agreed and said, anything you wish or anything you say, but I request you that at least for your great work, for your efforts, for your work, I will pay you. Let's make a contract. Now, fourth para. Now, a glint came to Monsieur Labbe's eyes as he gazed upon that 20-foot tall wall and thought of all that space, such a wonderful space to give his imagination wings. Because unknown to Senior Bartoli or indeed anyone else, for all of his career of 45 years, Monsieur Signe Labe had longed, urged to paint in his own way. And what way was that? Certainly not the popular style of the time. No, Monsieur Signe Labe had hungered to break free of restraint. Means hungered to break free of restraints means wanted to break the traditional art form. He wanted to make the things of his own, not the traditional art. But the guild is a professional union. It's a union of artists or a craftsmen, which were very powerful at that time. So, but the guild, his craft and livelihood would never have allowed it. So he followed their rules, although he was never proud of it. Of course, he didn't reveal this to Senior Bartoli. So, students, now a sudden brightness was shown in the eyes of the Monsieur Labe after seeing the 20-foot tall wall. And this was the perfect space to give his imagination wings. Means he wanted to paint or portray the way he liked. And he longed, he urged for this moment so that he could paint in his own way. Obviously, it was not the popular style of that time. He wanted to break free from the traditional art form. He does not want to paint those art form that was coming from a very long time. So that's why he wanted to break free from the traditional art form. The guild, as I told you, the guild means the union of artists or a craftsman, which were quite powerful. Even his craft means his work, or you can say his art, and also livelihood would never allowed him to paint. Means these three things: guild, his craft, his livelihood, would never allowed him to paint in his own way. So he followed the rules of traditional painting or traditional art form, but he was not very proud of it. So he was not very proud of it all. And besides this, all these things were not revealed to the Bartoli. Means he longed to paint of his own style. He wanted to break free from the traditional art form. This was not known to Bartoli. Now, fifth para. Signing the contract, they sealed the agreement. He signed the contract with Giuliano Bartoli. Sixth para. Immediately, the master artist threw a high curtain in front of the wall. A curtain through which Senior Bartoli could not see at all. He tried to peek, but Monsieur Labe insisted on total privacy for his artistic technique. Now, quickly, the master artist threw the curtain in front of the wall so that Senior Bartoli could not see his portrait at all. He tried to peep, but Monsieur Labe requested him that there should be total privacy while he paints. Okay? So he said there should be total privacy while he paints, because he was going to paint in the new way of the technique, or in a new way of artistic technique. Okay? Means he wanted to give him his imagination wings. Okay, so he was about to paint in a new way of the techniques, or you can say new way of artistic techniques. Now, seventh para. A week passed. How is it coming along? Asked the hopeful Senior Bartoli. Now a week passed. A week has gone. Senior Bartoli asked how much painting has progressed. Out of curiosity, Senior Bartoli asked how much painting has progressed. Okay, students, I will stop here, and the rest of the paras we will continue in next videos.